A lot of people don't know that we're sisters. That's something I never talked about in the beginning because I didn't want it to be a crutch. I didn't want people to be like, oh, that's her sister. I didn't want that to be my accolade of mine. But now that, I've solidified my spot, then I go ahead and talk about it. But a lot of people don't know it, though.
Most people still don't even know this. And honestly, that's what makes it so strange. Because Nia Long has a sister in Hollywood. Not a sister-like, not a cousin, not a best friend she calls sis, a real blood sister. Same father. And when the internet finally realized it, people didn't just get surprised, they got uncomfortable. Because in Hollywood, silence is never random. And the part that makes this story hit harder isn't the fact they're related, it's the fact they've spent years moving like they're not. No interviews, no casual mentions, no red carpet sister moments, nothing. But before we get into why this got so cold and distant, do me a favor real quick if you like deep dives that expose what people miss. Hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this one is way deeper than it looks.
Because I think for a lot of years I was disappointed and angry, and I wanted, my dad to read me a bedtime story and be there and do all of the things that a daddy is supposed to do. And
now here's what happened. Comedian Sommore sat down for an interview and casually revealed that she and Nia Long share the same father. She said it like it wasn't a big deal, like, yeah, we have the same dad, but the internet immediately locked in because the question became obvious. If they're sisters, why has nobody ever seen them together? And why did Nia spend so much of her career never mentioning her? The timeline is what explains everything. Their father was a poet named Nia Long. Sommore was born first, but her parents didn't last, and the relationship ended not long after she was born. A few years later, he got with another woman, Nia's mother, and they had Nia, but that relationship also fell apart. When the divorce happened, Nia was only around 2 years old, and after that, Nia's mother left New Jersey and moved her all the way to Los Angeles. That move changed everything, because it meant the two girls didn't grow up in the same household, didn't share daily life, didn't build the natural bond that most sisters get by default. Sommore stayed closer to their father and still had him in her life. Nia didn't, and that's where this stops being a cute fun fact and starts being something heavier. Because Nia has spoken before about feeling disappointed, angry, and resentful when it came to her father. She talked about wanting him to read her bedtime stories, wanting him to be present, wanting the kind of father that shows up consistently.
Oh yeah, we have the same father, so yeah, my dad is proud.
Are you guys close?
We speak from time to time, but we're not. I won't be babysitting her kids, no.
You so silly. You all right with me, girl?
That's how it is in life. I tell people all the time, we have the same father. We're not necessarily sisters.
But she didn't get that. So while Sommore had a version of their dad that was real and accessible, Nia's version of him was mostly memory, absence, and longing. And people who've lived through that know exactly how complicated that gets. Because even if you love your parent, even if you miss them, you can still resent them. And the sad part is, when you're young, you don't always know where to put that resentment. Sometimes it lands on the people who represent what you didn't get, and Sommore, by default, represented that. She represented the life where dad was still around. So allegedly, for a long time, Nia didn't just keep Sommore private, she didn't really want anything to do with her. And that's not because Sommore did anything wrong. It's because Sommore became a reminder of the version of their father that Nia never had. And when the public found out, a lot of people assumed it was just about independence. Like, okay, maybe they hid it so Sommore wouldn't be known as Nia Long's sister, and Nia wouldn't be accused of pulling strings. And yes, that was part of it. Sommore herself basically said she didn't want her career to be a crutch. She didn't want her identity to be reduced to her sister. She wanted to stand on her own talent, because if she wanted longevity, she needed her own lane. And honestly, that was the smartest move she could have made. But there's another layer too, and it's the Hollywood PR layer. Because Nia Long's career has always been built on a certain kind of image. Quiet, desirable, elegant, mysterious. She was never the messy celebrity. She was never the one giving you personal chaos.
The beautiful time in my life, because I can actually put everything into perspective and now it all makes sense.
Right.
And I feel more free and alive than I have in the last 10 years because I have understanding. And I've forgiven myself for not forgiving people sooner in my own life.
Every week, Nia was always intentional about what she shared and what she didn't. And Sommore, on the other hand, built her career on being blunt, loud, honest, unfiltered. She says what she thinks. That's literally why she's successful. But if you understand Hollywood branding, you understand why Nia might not have wanted the public linking her carefully managed leading lady image to Sommore's raw comedic style. Not because Sommore is embarrassing, she isn't, but because the industry is judgmental, and back then especially, actresses were punished for the smallest things. So Nia staying silent may have been partly emotional and partly strategic. And the thing is, Sommore didn't expose her. Sommore didn't chase the connection. She didn't run around doing interviews like, "Yeah, that's my sister," to get clicks. She didn't try to ride Nia's name. She built her own career, her own fan base, and her own respect. That's why when people finally found out, they were shocked. Because if Sommore wanted attention, she could have used that connection years ago. She didn't. And when people asked Sommore if they were close, she didn't fake it. She didn't try to sell the public a sweet sister story. She straight up said they speak sometimes, but they're not close. She even joked that she won't be babysitting Nia's kids. And people laughed, but the truth behind that joke was sharp. It wasn't hate, it was reality. She basically said, "We share a father, but we didn't build a sisterhood." And that's the part that makes the story hit different. Because most celebrity secret sibling stories end with a reunion moment, or a public embrace, or some emotional Instagram post where everyone cries. This one didn't. And Nia made it even more confusing when she finally acknowledged Sommore publicly. She posted a side-by-side photo of them and captioned it something like, "The funny one in the family," tagged Sommore. And people were like, okay, finally, maybe they're building something. Sommore liked it. It looked like a small step. But then Nia deleted the post. No explanation, no follow-up, just gone. And deleting it made it feel like the post wasn't about connection, it was about control. Like she wanted to acknowledge it, but only for a moment, only when she felt comfortable, and then she pulled it back. And that's the kind of move that makes the internet read between the lines. Because if everything was normal, why delete it? Then in 2020, when their father passed away, Nia posted a tribute that felt more real. She called him a master of words, an educator, a hero, and she acknowledged Sommore again as her sister. That moment felt less like PR and more like grief. Like when death happens, suddenly the truth becomes harder to ignore. And after that, Nia did an interview where she spoke about resentment and forgiveness. She talked about how holding anger made her miss out on time with people, and how she finally felt free after she learned to forgive, including forgiving herself for not forgiving sooner. And that's a powerful thing to say. But it also doesn't automatically mean the relationship with Sommore became close. Because letting go of resentment doesn't magically build a bond that never existed. And based on how they still move today, it looks like there's no active beef, no public shade, no ratchet drama. It's not that. It's colder than that. It's distance. It's two women living two completely different versions of the same family story. One who grew up with their father in her life, and one who didn't. And when you don't share the same version of a parent, you don't share the same emotional truth either. For Sommore, their father was present. For Nia, he was mostly absence. And that gap doesn't always close, even when you become adults, even when you become successful, even when the world expects you to make it right. Because the bond wasn't built in childhood, and by the time fame came, the emotional walls were already up. And that's why this story has always felt weird to the public. Because it's not a scandal, but it's not wholesome either. It's one of those real-life situations where the truth is messy, but not in a viral way. It's messy in a human way. And I think that's why people keep bringing it up, because it reminds people that not all siblings are close, not all family relationships get healed, and not every story ends with hugs and matching Christmas photos. Sometimes it ends with we speak from time to time. Sometimes it ends with we share a father, but we're not really sisters like that. And the gag is, both of them seem fine with that. They've both built successful careers. They've both created their own path. And they've both moved in a way that shows they don't need to perform a bond for the public just because people want one. So the real twist isn't that Nia Long has a sister, it's that even with blood, even with Hollywood, even with time, they still live like strangers. And that tells you how deep childhood resentment can run when you grow up feeling like you were left behind. So what do you think? Is this just life and distance? Or does it feel like something deeper? Drop your thoughts in the comments and I'll see you in the next video.